The ancient Sith continually proved to be some of the most mind-bogglingly evil beings in all of Star Wars legends. These men and women who took upon them the mantle of the Dark Lord of the Sith in past times have proven themselves worthy of the moniker time and time again. But today, my friends, our researchers have found a map leading to a holocron which may detail what is possibly the most powerful ancient Sith of them all. Speak of today, an updated holocron of Tula Kord, a Sith Lord predating the time of even Marka Ragnos, and one who sets up the precedent for what Sith Lords truly ought to be and what they can achieve. We have been quite excited for some time to talk about this absolute beast of the dark side talent, so without further ado, let us open the holocron and dive straight in. Tula Kord's exact date of life is scarcely known, though it has been triangulated to be somewhere around a few centuries prior to 5000 BBY. Interestingly enough, it appears that he may have also participated in a Jedi-Sith war that we have here not known about yet. You see, the way galactic history usually tells us is the last time the Jedi saw Darksiders was during the 100-Year Darkness, and they didn't see the Sith until the Great Hyperspace War as led by Naga Sadow, with the 100-Year Darkness not even being against the Sith but Dark Jedi. However, evidence points to the fact that there may have been a brief and relatively obscure meeting between the Jedi Order and the Sith Empire. In the Tales of the Jedi Golden Age of the Sith comics, the Jedi are acutely aware of the term Sith, and have old stories about the Sith Empire. What's even more obscure about this is in the book, it doesn't appear as if they were referring exclusively to the Sith purebloods. History tells us the last time they saw the Sith, they hadn't yet called themselves that, as at that time, it was a Junta Pal and his followers using the term of Dark Jedi. This means that at some point before the Great Hyperspace War that we aren't entirely sure of yet, the Sith Empire rose up against the Republic in a war. It appears this mysterious war has been lost to the pages of history, and the only surviving evidence that it ever even happened lies entirely with Tula Kord himself and the legends of his great conquests. Horde's power and skill in combat was legendary among the Sith even of his day. Darth Kreia gives a very interesting account of Tula Kord to Mitra Surik. Kreia says that Horde was the greatest lightsaber duelist of all the Sith Lords and was considered remarkable even for his era. This is especially impressive when you have to take into account what Kreia had mentioned about the skill of the Sith Lords of that era. She said, quote, "We are as children playing with toys compared to the prowess of the old masters. Keep in mind that Darth Treya lived during the time of Revan and Malak, and that she had personally trained Darth Nihilus, as well as trained Revan as a Jedi. Nihilus, though, who was an exceptional one-handed duelist. As a demonstration of Tula Kord's true abilities, we later learned from an account by the main general of the war that he had single-handedly broken Jedi sieges to Imperial strongholds on both the Yin and Chabosh systems. It was said that thousands of Jedi lay dead in the aftermath of this great and terrible battle, with potentially Tula Kord killing hundreds by his own blade. I'm gonna say that again. It's rumored that Tula Kord killed hundreds of Jedi in a single battle. Tula Kord was an absolute king at sorcery as well, having founded and written many tombs to which he had scattered about the Empire. There was a rumor that suggested that Horde held the secret to even eternal life, but this was never confirmed. What we do know, though, is that he would have expertly employed rituals mid-combat that would secure his victory, being a perfect combination of a duelist as well as a force wielder. Using magic, he would drain the life force of his fallen enemies in order to sustain himself. This resulted in him receiving quick, sharp boosts to his power every time he downed a foe. Every time he cleaved through a Jedi and felt their blood upon his blade, he became more and more powerful. This power would keep compounding until he was an absolute unstoppable creation of the dark side. Also, for those who may be confused, we do see the Sith Empire using more primitive type weapons during the Great Hyperspace War rather than lightsabers. This is actually because during this era, the Sith Lords have become very confident in their dark side alchemy skills and decided to flex that by using metal blades as a sort of ceremony and rite of passage. In reality, the Sith had actually been in the lead concerning lightsaber technology above the Jedi, and Tula Kord owned a lightsaber that had his own internal power cell, and he didn't require a battery pack like the Jedi did with their proto-sabers. Our theory for why Naga Sadow and his contemporaries didn't use lightsabers lies in the fact that they may have considered lightsabers to be too quick and easy, and they wanted their enemies to suffer while wounded. Naga Sadow's blade, for instance, was known for being alchemically enhanced with a type of deadly and painful poison. It seems that Tula Kord, though, preferred to do things with honor and efficiency, and this is why he used a lightsaber. One of the first lightsaber-wielding Sith. Speaking of which, honor is not exactly the word that comes to mind when we think of the treacherous Sith. However, we have noticed a trend with these archaic Sith Lords prior to the time of Naga Sadow. King Adus, Tula Kord, and Marka Ragnos all exhibited the tendency to adhere to some kind of honor code. They did not resent their fellows for being powerful, and although they would betray someone if it meant keeping their own position, they awarded strength and honored promises made. Loyalty was huge for these ancient Sith Lords. Case in point, King Adus had no problem with people challenging him, but after he demolished them in combat, he would actually honor their deaths by drinking their blood soup. Marka Ragnos, who came after, had an underling of his known as Simis challenge him for the title of Dark Lord. Ragnos won and beheaded Simis, but Simis lived through using Sith sorcery and kept his life going by encasing his head in a crystal that was carried about by a slave. Ragnos was so impressed with Simis's perseverance that he awarded him a place of his personal advisor, and Simis would be loyal to Ragnos beyond his death. Tula Kord also did something similar with his general. During his early years, Hord fought an honorable duel against a Deshade named Kem Val, who would later become his most faithful ally. In another circumstance, Hord was approached by a Sith known as Aloysius Calig, who sought to serve him. However, Hord dismissed him. Calig refused to accept the dismissal, however, and challenged Hord's best general and beat him. After Calig's victory, Hord decided to accept him with open arms, and he led Hord's troops to numerous victories. Tula Kord would soon be killed though via backstab by his only known apprentice, a Sith Lord named Ortan Sella. Notable, as the only way to kill Tula Kord was by a being whom he completely trusted, stabbed in the back, never face to face. Tula Kord's lightsaber, some crystals, many of his books, as well as his iconic mask would all be laid to rest with him in his tomb in the Valley of the Dark Lords, where he would be exalted for eternity. Unfortunately for us, most of his life and history would be wiped out after the Jedi bombed Korriban following the Great Hyperspace War. From the things that our researchers have managed to uncover, however, it seems as though Tula Kord was a powerhouse unlike any other Sith Lord of his era or afterwards. But my friends and acolytes of the Force, what do you think of today's holocron and Tula Kord? Do you consider any other Sith Lords to be on the level of Hord? And let us know down below. As a reminder, due to the holidays, we are having a big sale on the Star Wars merch page, where you can get t-shirts, hoodies, keychains, and far more 50% off. And if you use code WAVE at checkout, you'll get an additional 15% off your entire order. That's 65% off the total cost. So my friends, if you're interested, now may be a good time. As always, acolytes, hit that subscribe button, and may the Force be with you.